Hey everyone, it's Jack, and today I'm back out at the ArchCraft website because I want to explore ArchCraft OS, the new version, plus the Calameres installer, which has been added into this. And on top of that, I want to add another twist, which is installing XFCE Desktop and then pimping it up on top of it. Now some of you might be thinking, what? Are you nuts? What are you thinking? This is an Openbox distro. Window manager only. Why are you putting a desktop on there? This is sacrilege. An insult to ArchCraft's greatness. Well, you gotta remember, Linux is all about making things the way you want it. It's kind of like having the world's biggest Lego set, and you can build anything you want. And the more you mess with it, the better you get at it. And the bigger stuff you can create, and the more cooler things you can make. And since it's such a big Lego set, ArchCraft seems like a really great base for throwing on a desktop environment too, and just kind of messing with it. So why not? With the purity of ArchCraft, it should be a piece of cake. And now you got three options. Openbox, BSP WM, and your favorite desktop. In this case, we're going to pimp out XFCE. So I think this will be a lot of fun. I'm going to run over here and just download this ISO here, which is, I forgot. Now so, like I said in the last video, ArchCraft is a very pure install of Arch. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. And in my opinion, it's probably one of the best Openbox distros I've ever seen. This is just a gorgeous distro, and the developer of ArchCraft is really fantastic. He's got just the right balance of artistic talent, coding talent, and everything else. So yeah, can't say enough good things about this. So I'm going to go ahead and download this, load it in, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're booting into the live edition of the new ArchCraft 5.26. May 26 is when the upgrade came out. And so we should be getting into our Openbox environment any second now. And here we are. So I'm going to go ahead and log in as live user, which is also our password. And here we go. All right. So we got the same great menu that we had before. This is really well done. Just gorgeous. Everything about it. What can I say? Yeah, let's go ahead and hit the menu here. So let's go in here and hit our install ArchCraft. And I can see here Alacritty is now available. I'm going to go ahead and hit install ArchCraft here. And this should open a Calameres based installer. And there we are. Wow, very nice. They got that really customized really well. I got to tell you, the developer of this system, of this distro, is really top notch in my opinion. So I've gone ahead and hit next, and auto-detected my location is New York. And so I'm going to leave all that as the default. Same with the keyboard. And so now we got our options here for installing, and I'm going to go ahead and just hit erase disk because there's already data on this virtual disk. So I'm going to hit that and just hit next. Let's go with our usual Toadwick. And then put in a password here. And then, yeah, we'll just turn off login automatically. I see that it's checked by default, and that's good. But of course we want to take a look at the greeter here and kind of see what it looks like. See what we got. And I don't remember what kind of display manager it's running. I think it's probably running maybe LXDM or LightDM. I think it's probably LX, if I remember right. So onward and upward. Okay, so we're ready to install. And so there you go, easy peasy. I'm just going to go ahead and hit install and let it do its thing. And I see up here right now it is 11:08, so we'll see how quick the install goes. It goes actually pretty quick. And as you can see, it's creating the new ButterFS partition. And so it's does ButterFS by default. Another thing I like, because I like TimeShift, and TimeShift and ButterFS are a nice combo for obvious reasons. So yes, a very beautiful looking installer here, and nice info going along. So again, top notch. I really love the way it's going, and it's got both window managers, which I really like. So I'll go ahead and hit pause, and I'll be back right after the install. Okay, and we're all set. So I'm going to go ahead and restart now, and then be right back. We're at the login screen here. So here we are. I'm going to go ahead and hit Toadwake and type in my password. And as you can see down here in the lower left hand corner where we have our default, we can select our sessions. By default, it's Openbox, of course, and then we have BREWSKI WM as our alternate. So I'm going to go ahead and stay with our default, which is Openbox, and log in. And here we are in that gorgeous environment again. So now we're all updated to the new 526 edition of ArchCraft. So really cool. And if we jump in here now, if we go into our menu, we can see that we have Alacritty as our terminal now. And so let's go ahead before we do anything and just run htop and see what we got. Okay, nothing out of htop. Wonder if that might be related to maybe the change in the terminal, possibly. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Alacritty here. All right, let me just jump down to our Thunar. And we got Thunar, so we're good there. Not quite sure what's up with the terminal. Okay, I'm in my Openbox settings right now, and I'm going to try disabling the 3D acceleration. Maybe that has something to do with it. I'm only guessing at this point, but that's the only semi-logical thing I can connect. So let's try that. Now I'll go ahead, and also I'll take out my CD. And we'll go ahead and start and see if that helps. Jump back into full screen here. Go with ArchCraft. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not a problem with the distro. I'm pretty sure it's just somehow related to Virtualbox. So I'm just gonna give it another try here and see what we got. Yay, it's back. Okay, well that's what it was. So if you're trying this in Virtualbox, don't turn on 3D acceleration, and then you'll be good. Okay, got past that little hurdle. Very good. Now that we're in Alacritty, let's just go ahead and run htop. And wow, look at that, 314. Wow, sweet. I like it. So that's gorgeous. Very nice idling memory there. Even lower now, 298. Whoa. I'm really impressed. That's sweet. So, okay. Now let's go ahead and jump out of that, and let's see if our shortcut works to htop. And it does. Good. Okay. Excellent. So it looks like Alacritty is really just kind of solidly in there, and all that was just a funky driver issue there with the 3D acceleration and Virtualbox. Excellent. So beyond that, we can press our super key here to look at our menu. And if you remember in our last video, we had all these different settings here, and we could change our menu type and all that. So that's all good. And I see we have our Qt 5 settings. Okay, I don't remember that in the last one, although it may have been there, but that looks new. Cool, okay. And there's our Midori driver. There's our Midori web browser, and Midori is a nice lightweight web browser. It's kind of nice, and I like the speed dial feature too. That's pretty cool. I would still load Firefox because I have all the, bookmarks and stuff like that synchronized in my Firefox, so that's kind of nice. But Midori is a great lightweight browser, so I think that was not a bad choice, actually, in my opinion. Not everybody might agree, but, what can I say? So now let's get down to business. Now that we got our beautiful Openbox ArchCraft environment here, let's turn it into a Frankenstein. Let's put in XFCE and then pimp it out and see how it runs on the ArchCraft base here. I heard that from the peanut gallery. Yeah, get a rope, huh? I tell you, some people. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open up Alacritty here. Let's hit a terminal emulator and see if it's associated with anything yet. Yep, it is. So automatically, right off the bat, that's good. Okay, so now to put in a desktop environment, if for some reason you want to have one instead of using the Openbox, on my test machine, I love the Openbox, and I'm just happy staying in Openbox, really. However, it's always nice to have options. So let's build something. Since we have this nice base all set up for us. So I'm going to go ahead and hit, first of all, before we do anything, we want to go ahead and just run an update to make sure that we're current. And we may very well be, as new as this is. But I'm going to go ahead and do that first. You always want to do that before you start building with your Lego set. So here we go. Yes, we got some updates here. So let's get those in place first. And while that's running, I'm just going to kind of take a quick look through this menu and just see if there's anything new that... because I did notice a Qt 5 before. We got Vim in there. That's cool, even though I'm not a real Vim guy. But Vim is really powerful, and one of these days I'm going to break down and just learn it. I mean, get it down a lot better. I like Nano because it's just intuitive, and for me, I like things that are intuitive. If it's not intuitive, then that means I got to invest extra time that I could probably better spend elsewhere, when I can simply use Nano to accomplish a lot of the same things. Now, some people might argue against that because Vim is so powerful that once you take the time and invest in it and learn it, you can save a lot of time with the cut and paste features and the powerful searching features and everything else that you have in it. So if you're really heavy into using a text editor to manipulate and do things, Vim is really worthwhile to go ahead and learn. For me, I haven't really been able to justify it at this point, but definitely not knocking Vim, because Vim is a fantastic environment. I've seen it in action. I've seen that Mr. DT DistroTube dude using it, and pretty impressive, gotta tell you. Okay, I did so much yapping I didn't really get the chance to see anything new there, but I didn't see anything overly new either, except for the Qt 5, which might be new. But we got through our update, so let's carry on, shall we? So now let's go ahead and do a sudo pacman -s XFCE 4 and XFCE dash, I think it's XFCE 4 dash goodies. So, and I got a space in between, so that'll should install both of these. So let's go ahead and just hit enter here. And I misspelled Pacman. Okay, left out the N. So I hit my up arrow here to repeat what I just typed, so I don't have to type it again. And I'll just insert that M in there, and that should make it all happy. So now it looks more normal. And there we go. And so it's showing us here. This is for our XFCE4 install. And this is all our base install that we need for XFCE4. And I'm going to go ahead and just hit enter for the default. We want to just select all of that. And then this is for our goodies. So we got all these goodies here. And I'm just going to go ahead and throw all those in too. And then just hit yes. And then we'll just let that do an install. That won't take long at all, actually. This usually goes pretty quick. Excellent. Now, well, let's log out. And I'm in Openbox right now because I'm using this ArchCraft actually on my home machine. So I like it that much. So my Openbox is actually displaying here the system task manager here, the icons. But unfortunately it's covering up the little logout thingy there. Not a big deal. I just hit my super key to bring up my menu, and I just typed in log out here to get to it. And it doesn't want to go out that way. So I'm just going to go ahead and unmaximize my Virtualbox here and just hit this. Go log out. Hit that. Yes. Control F to maximize again. And then we're back at our login screen. Now we're going to go down here in the lower left hand corner and we should see our XFCE session. There it is. So I'm going to go ahead and select that and then log in. And now we are at our XFCE screen. Let's see how that affected our htop, our resources. So we are still at a nice 492. Not bad. Now that we got an install of a desktop, as you can see, it's gone up about 100 megs or so, roughly, give or take. So that's kind of to be expected because now we have additional overhead of a desktop environment. And we have icons now over here. So I'm going to go ahead and jump out of there. I'll just F10 out of htop. And now we can continue on to phase 2, the pimping. So first of all, let's see. I guess we can go ahead and do our menus. I see this is up on top, so that's pretty good where it is. However, if you don't like the panel on top, we could always go into panel preferences and we can move that. So for example, in our mode, maybe you want it on the side, like in GNOME 3. You can do a desk bar setting, and then it'll be over here on the side, and then you could increase the row size here if you want it to be more visible. And you could also change these. You could remove this. Actually, this is the window. Forgot what they call it. The window. It's called the window buttons. Okay. So in window buttons, you could either remove that altogether, or you can turn off button labels and kind of make it like that. So, you know, there's a couple options there. You can also kind of make that transparent over here by just kind of backing these off a bit, and then you get some transparency going on. So that's kind of cool. Or if you just prefer having it on top, you can put it on top. Like I might want to keep it as, let's try it as desk bar loaded on top. So if you want it on top, you can go horizontal here and just have it up here, but then of course you want to shrink your row size. So let's try the row size right around maybe 33. That kind of looks moderately cool. And then our applications menu here, we got our basic application menu. So I think I'm going to run whisker menu there. So let's pop over here to our items. And then let's go to add. And let's scroll down to whisker menu. Pop that in there. Close that out. And now we'll go ahead and select whisker menu, and we're going to move it all the way over by selecting the up arrow. We're going to put it all the way over into the upper left-hand corner. Right there. And then we're going to just get rid of the applications menu. So I'm going to hit remove. And now we have our whisker menu. Yay! And to take that a step further now, let's go ahead and right click on our whisker menu icon. And let's select properties. And then here, we want to go into behavior, switch categories by hovering. And then that way when we select here, it can select our categories this way, which I think is a lot nicer. And then our panel button, let's go ahead and change the icon. So I'm going to click on that guy. And it'll take a second here, and then it'll bring up a property sheet here that we can select new icons. All right. And let's see, let's go in our search and maybe let's try start. Nope, nothing there. Okay, how about menu? Yeah, that's a little better. We could go with KDE if you wanted to mess with people's heads. I was really looking for kind of maybe an Arch logo here. Well, let's just type in Arch. There we go. Nice. All right. So, ground, I'll go ahead and go with this guy. Make it look a little bigger and easier to see. And I think I'm just going to widen that a little bit more too in a little bit. So, okay. I think for now we're kind of good there. So we'll go ahead and close that, and then back in our panel preferences here, under appearance, we still have our kind of our semi-opacity going on here. So that's kind of cool. And I think I'll leave with dark mode and maybe increase our row size just a little bit more. Maybe 36. And then I think I'm going to just crank up our icon size a little bit here. Maybe make that a little bit bigger. There we go. I kind of like that better with the Arch. So maybe 27. Nice. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and hit lock panel for now. And also you can automatically hide the panel if you just want that to disappear when you have something fully minimized or maximized. So, you know, that's another option you can have on there. Personally, I kind of like having access to that. So I'm not going to do that, but keep in mind that you can go ahead and let that auto hide if you wish. Okay, now that we got that going, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this panel. So I'm going to right click on this guy, hit panel preferences, and then just delete it.
Oh my God, what did you do?
Not to worry, we have Plank. So, in fact, I think Plank is installed by default here, which is pretty nice. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit Plank. And then let's open this baby. And there's our Plank right there. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit my control key and right click and select preferences. And so under here, let's go with, let's see, we want to leave that on the bottom, I think. You can also put that on the side if you like it better on the side, like say on the left side here. So that's an option as well. Personally, I kind of like it on the bottom. And then I think I'm just going to let that show while it's, just have it dodge. So maybe have it dodge maybe a maximized window. That way I can always see it unless I got a window that's maximized. And then it'll jump out of the way. And then I want to come back here and center alignment's good. You can also have it fill if you kind of want it like a taskbar. You can do that as well. And then that way if you change your theme up here, instead of being transparent, you could have it like matte. And then you can see all the way across. It's kind of like a taskbar. So I mean, that's like another option you can do. So many options. So I just kind of want to show you there's a lot of ways you can tweak this. There's the GTK Plus style and the default, which apparently is the kind of the transparent look. Let's go with matte for now. And I'm going to make this centered. Then we'll go ahead and add a few things here. Maybe bump that up 1 to 33. All right, so let's add a couple things here real quick. First of all, let's open up our file manager. And really nice theme, I like that. And then we'll go ahead and right click over our icon down here in the plank dock and we'll select keep in dock. And then let's just jump in here and see if there's anything that we have installed by default that we would just kind of want to put in there to have at our disposal. So for example, we can open up Midori here and just kind of add that in there. Of course, I'll install Firefox here real quick and we'll probably just replace it with that. So I'm going to go ahead and just sudo pacman Firefox and kind of let that install in the background. Actually, let me say no real quick. And let's add a couple other things too. Firefox, and let's do Inkscape and GIMP. So we'll just kind of pretend we're on a daily driver machine. And so I'll just add a couple other things in there just to have those. And it helps when you spell things right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hit yes, and let that run. And while that's running, let's continue the pimping process. So okay, I'm just kind of adding things here to the plank just to kind of get it looking nicer, because having more items in there is nice. And of course the purpose of plank is to have all your favorite stuff right there at your disposal, so you can just simply jump down and grab it instead of searching for it in the menu. All right, now speaking of searching things in the menu, let's go ahead and download another app, and this is called ULauncher. So I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. Actually, it's called ULaunch. Oh, that's right, we got to yay that. So let's go ahead and yay ULauncher. And I didn't hit -F because I just kind of want to see our options here. So we have our AUR ULauncher, and then we have the Git version, and then we have a theme here for Arch Dark Git. So this is why I didn't hit the option, the -Fs, because I wanted to see if there was a theme available, because they do have themes. So that way we can go ahead and select our option 1, which is the ULauncher itself, and then hit space and 3, and then that'll install our themes as well. So I'm going to go ahead and hit enter, and then just hit enter again to go with the default response, and enter again. This is for our theme, and then let's just say yes and let it do its thing. ULauncher is kind of like the equivalent to like KRunner and KDE Plasma. So ULauncher is really nice, and this will help with the pimping process of our XFCE desktop. Okay, so now by default, I believe all we got to do is hit Control Spacebar to bring up ULauncher. But for the first launch, I believe we got to just go ahead and bring it up in our menu here. And there it is. So I'm going to hit that. Okay, now it has our hotkey set to Control Space. So if I Control Space, there we go. We got our ULauncher right here. Nice. All right. So if we hit this little icon here, we can go into our settings. And then we can look at our themes here. And as you can see, we have our Arc Dark and Darker. And then other ones by default, which is like the Elementary Dark and so forth. Let's go ahead and hit Arc Dark and see how our theme looks there. So I'm going to go ahead and close, Control Space. Yeah, nice. Okay, so we're making progress. All right. So here's our Google search, Stack Overflow, and Wikipedia. So if it doesn't get a hit on a result when you're looking for something, then it'll give you a quick hotkey right here to where you can maybe search for it, or look it up on Stack Overflow or Wikipedia. So that's a really nice option. Otherwise, if it is something available, then it's going to show up here in the menu. You'll have easy access. So yeah, ULauncher is really great. Nice addition here. Okay, now what else can we do? Let's get our theming going here. So I'm thinking, right now we just have our default themes here. So let's maybe go with a qogir theme. That's like a Git from GitHub. So let's go yay qogir. And here again, I didn't use a -f because I want to see my choices. And here, because I want to add in some icon themes too. But here we got like qogir GT theme, GTK Git. There's our icon theme. We have for KDE, and then Orphaned, Kvantum, Fluent. So yes, I'm going to go ahead and go with the choice number 1, and then add in these icons as well. So I'm going to hit space and do number 2. Just press enter. And we'll just kind of see how these themes look. And this is kind of an easy way to get some themes going on without having to go out and look for some. And then while these themes are downloading, not really sure how long that's going to take, but while that's doing its thing, let's go into our settings manager real quick. I'm going to go up here and hit our little thing. I could have done that from our plank down here too, by the way. And we can kind of look at our compositing settings. If we go into Window Manager Tweak, you can see that our compositor is turned on for XFWM, our XFWM window manager. If I remember right, ArchCraft has the Compton, I think the Tyrone Git compositor installed here. Let's see. Or not. Yeah, I was kind of thinking it was here. I'm going to go ahead and hit that in the, once this is done, I'm going to hit that in the console there just to see if Compton's on there. I thought that kind of came with the Openbox for the compositor. So we're going to kind of want to switch over to that as well as soon as this is done. And also I'm going to open up my Thunar file manager here. And as you can see by default, we're kind of running a dark theme already here by default. So that's interesting. We've retained that apparently from our Openbox, maybe, because I see we got all these really cool icons kind of left over from our Openbox. So let me just jump out of this compositing thingy real quick and then go into Appearance. And so, yeah, it looks like Adaptinoco and our Love folder's dark. Nice. Yeah, those are really great. I like these icons actually. They're pretty cool. And that's our lighter theme. So yeah, it's actually doesn't look that bad actually right off the bat. So we'll kind of compare that with our qogir here. So now that we got that installed, I'm going to go ahead and close that. Jump back in. And let's see how this guy looks, like our qogir dark. Yeah, that looks kind of cool. And then qogir Ubuntu is kind of neat too. And the Ubuntu dark. Yeah, I might go with that. I kind of like the orange and black. That's a cool combination there. And then with our icons, I'm kind of liking the defaults a bit. That's kind of nice. But let's just compare that with the qogir. And I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, so sorry to the developers if, you know. Okay. So, yeah, that's kind of the Manjaro look there. The Ubuntu look. So I think I'm going to stay with the Ubuntu there just for the continuity there and the look. And I like the trash better. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, so let's kind of go with that. So now that we got our theming kind of out of the way, you can also change your fonts here if you want. I kind of like the default Noto, but there's a lot of cool fonts that you can choose from if you like different fonts. And my cat is here, by the way. He came up to visit me here a little while ago. So I got him with me. He's helping me. Actually, he's secretly giving me all the instructions on what to do. Okay. So now, let's kind of get our compositing a little better. Like I was saying before, I'm going to go in here and just type in Compton just to see. Okay, yeah, so Compton is installed. And it's telling me that the blur method is incompatible with Xrender backend. Interesting. Okay. The reason this is running the Compton Tyrone Git, I'm pretty sure, because it has the blur feature in it. And I really like the blur feature. That's really makes it nice. So I want to kind of get that running. So first of all, what I want to do is I want to go back into our settings here and into Window Manager Tweaks, Compositor, and I want to turn off the XFWM compositing here and then close that. So now we don't have any compositing going on. And I want to go into our config file for Compton. So I'm in my home folder now and I'm going to turn on my hidden files. You can do that by hitting either Control H, or you can go up to View and check the Show Hidden Files. And then I want to go into our .config folder and scroll down to Compton Conf. So I'm going to just select that and hit Enter to open up our default editor, which is Genie, by the way. Nice. And then down here where it says backend equals Xrender, I'm going to change that to GLX. And maybe it'll work. I don't know. I got my 3D sync acceleration turned off here in Openbox, so yeah, I guess we'll see. So I'm going to just leave that off to the side real quick and run Compton again. And yay, it's working. Wow, nice. Okay, now let's test our opacity. Like I can go in here and go to Properties. And then let's just back off our background opacity here a bit. And Not seeing any blur there yet. Okay. So let's go up here. I'm going to close that. I'm going to leave that where it is. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close Alacritty. So let me just open up XFCE terminal real quick. And I'm going to just go ahead and jump in here and turn up the... So I'm going to go to background, transparent background. And then... Okay. So I'm going to go back into our config. Okay, so let's do a search for blur, like blur background. There we go. So let's go ahead and set that to true. And I think 1E is sufficient. Okay. So let's try a Compton now. So we're testing it in our monitor, in our console first, until we get it right. Okay, yeah, there we go. Now we got the blur happening. Yay! Sweet. That looks pretty good. And blurring there, beautiful. All right, that's much more like it. That is good. Yes, and I think the default blur is really good. I'm going to go ahead and hit preferences. So, like if I went here and I really just kind of crank this back, you can kind of get a better idea of our blurring. And that's really nice. Okay, so that's more like it. That's kind of what we want. Whoops. So okay, yeah, I think everything else is good. Our blur method here is good. I'm not sure what comma is there. Is that in... Okay, yeah, that was kind of a rogue thing there. I must have... I don't know. But anyways, that should just be... I don't know how you pronounce that. Kawaza. So that should just be that. Ignore the com that was in there. So here's our blur strength. So if you need more blur, you can crank that up to like 15 or 20. And then these are our exclusions here. Not applying the blur to the dock up here or the desktop itself. So if you want a blurry background in your dock, that's kind of where you would kind of take that out if you didn't want it. Otherwise, I think the default's pretty good. So I'm liking that. I'm going to go ahead and close that. Let's go ahead and run htop with no compositing. And we're at 948. Okay. So we got more things running here in the background. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and F10 out of this. Actually, Control C out of this. And now these invalid window parameters I think are just kind of benign things. Probably nothing to worry about. So I'm going to just jump back up here, go into our control panel, into our settings here. And then I'm going to go down to session and startup. And let's go ahead and we're going to add in Plank and under application auto start and our Compton monitor here, our Compton compositor here. So let's just make sure Plank's not in there already, which I don't expect it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and hit plus here to add an application. We'll call it Plank and Plank. And then for our command, we'll simply type in Plank. And then hit OK. And now it's added to our list. And checked by default. So nice. Now let's do the same thing with our Compton compositor. So I'm going to type in here Compton. compositor. And then down here, description, just simply Compton is good. And then Compton for our command. All right. So we'll hit that and make sure it's checked, which it is. Good. So we're going to go ahead and hit close. And then I'm going to do a quick restart and be right back. Back in action here. So we'll jump into our desktop and hopefully we'll have Plank and Compton activated. And looking good for Plank and for Compton. So now let's just kind of check how our activity is going on. I'm going to open up XFCE terminal again. And that's looking good. Got our blur behind the mouse. Nice. And then I think I'm going to remove Alacritty. So I'm going to right click over that. Uncheck keep in dock and then keep in dock for XFCE. All right. So now we got compositing going on and we got our thing here. So I'm going to hit htop. And out of the box, now we're at 524, which is still pretty darn respectable. Nice. Okay. Next. So now we got compositing going on with blurring in the background, a new theme happening. We got our panels and our plank starting to take shape here. Now let's right click on our wallpaper. So let's just jump into desktop settings and kind of see what we got for default. This is probably just our base XFCE default stuff. So we can definitely go out and add in some wallpaper. In fact, we could even install Variety with just a simple sudo pacman -s Variety. And then yes. And now if we launch Variety, hit Control Space to bring up ULauncher. Oh, ULauncher. We forgot to add that into our startup. Back into our settings manager real quick. I knew I forgot something. So in session startup, application auto start, we want to also add in ULauncher. So let's just kind of put that in there. And then I'll just kind of copy and paste that. And then here we want to have it all lowercase. Okay. And then we'll just close that. And then we'll just bring it up in here. And so ULauncher should be activated now. So I'm going to go ahead and Control Spacebar. There we go. Yeah, and see how much better ULauncher looks now? We got this nice transparent framing going on with the blur. So very cool. Nice. And if we go into settings here, and did you see how cool the blur looked again? Now that we got ULauncher in there, I'm going to go ahead and bring up for Variety and hit enter. And so here we got our welcome screen. So I'm going to go ahead and hit continue and then accept the cookies, or accept the privacy. I like to blindly accept things without really knowing what I'm getting into. It's fun. Okay. So now that we got our Variety, I don't think I want my wallpaper to change every 5 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and uncheck that. And I'm okay with it starting when the computer starts, but if you don't want it to, then go ahead and uncheck that box. Here's where it's going to grab some images. And then here's where in our config folder, it's going to create a folder called Variety, already has. And this is where our favorites are going to go when we want to add favorites. So I'm going to go ahead and hit close. And then up here we have our Variety icon, so we can simply click on that and it's going to start populating images here. So I can hit image and next, and then it's bringing up a random image here. I can go here to Wallpaper Selector and check that. And then it'll bring them up here on the bottom, which is pretty cool. And then I can scroll through here, and already it's got a bunch of stuff that we can kind of choose from. And so you can find a wallpaper that just looks great for you, that works. Even detected our ArchCraft here, so that's kind of cool. Or it's pulling it from the backgrounds. So yeah, a lot more to choose from already. And like I said, and these are some from our Openbox background here, like this scene here. So if you kind of like that from the Openbox settings, you can set it. I think that's also from our base Openbox install. A lot of cool things you can kind of choose from. And of course, you can always find your favorite wallpaper site. That's kind of cool. If I had a ton of icons, it would probably be a little too busy for me, but with just a few icons on the desktop, that kind of works. This one looks moderately neato too. Yeah. Wow. Okay, I think I'll just kind of hang with this for a little bit. That's kind of cool. Not sure I'd keep it forever, but it does look neat. So okay, I'm good with that. So we'll come back up here and uncheck our wallpaper selector. Okay, and now let's maybe pop a weather app up here. I kind of like, really like the XFCE weather app. So I'm going to go in here to panel items, add new items, and then I'm just going to type in weather. I think the weather app, the little weather applet in XFCE is really the best. I like it better than any of them because it's just, you just add it in, it automatically finds your location, sets it up for you. You don't have to do anything. It's great. And it gives you a lot of nice info. So now I'm going to right click on this, select properties. Whoops, that's the workspace switcher. Never mind. Okay, so my weather app, I'm going to need to go in here because I got to bump it over. So panel preferences, items, then my weather update. I'm going to move this over, so I'm going to bump this up, and I want it on the other side of my variety. So just going to move that over until it gets there. Then I'm going to hit close. And now we got our little thingy here. So I want to just go to right click, properties, and I can close it. And then it comes up, wahoo, back into properties. And I want to jump over here into our scroll box here. And then we're going to have it display our temperature. So I'm going to hit temperature and then add. And now you can see the temperature is displayed up here. And if you want, you can add other things in there like wind speed and barometer and direction and all that other stuff. And then it'll kind of scroll up here like in a scrolling fashion and just kind of alternate between different things. Personally, I just like having the temperature there. And then you can scroll over it and then it'll actually give you a little more detail, or you can click on it. How cool is that? So yes, the weather app, really nice little addition. All right. So yes, I am liking the way this is coming out. Looking good. And I think I'm going to just tweak my wallpaper real quick because this one is just not quite working for my blur effect. It doesn't really bring it out the way I kind of like it. So let me just slide over here real quick. And that other one I was looking at before I kind of liked earlier. There it is. So I'm going to go with that. And then we're good. Yeah, that's way better. That kind of shows off our blurring a little better. Yeah, nice. And we could probably, yeah. Okay, yep, much better. So I like that. I kind of like stuff that can kind of show off the blur. Kind of blings it out better. So I'm going to go ahead and uncheck wallpaper selector. And that's kind of better. So not bad for now anyway. So yes, and of course, really keep in mind that you can tweak your panels any way you want. Window buttons up here, you can remove that if you want, or keep it there. I kind of like being able to see what's open, so I usually keep it on. But that's an option. And like I said, you can go in your preferences and unlock the panel, and you can put it on the side if you like it on the side better. Or you can have it on the bottom if you like it on the bottom better. And you can move plank and put it on top. So that's an option. You know, a lot of people, they like their panel on the bottom. And so we can do that. And then we would hit Control and right click on our plank. Select Preferences. Position this on top. Close it. And then continue dragging this guy to the bottom. And then they're reversed. And there you go. So that's another option. And if you don't like the transparency in there, just go to Appearance and bring those back up. And that'll take out the transparency. Or if you just want a little bit, just back it off just a little. And there you go. And then, of course, hit Close. And then you got your stuff on the bottom. And now you got a more traditional look. So many possibilities. Or you can put this over on the side if you like it on the side. Lots of choices. So, like I said in the beginning, that's the beauty of Linux. If you want to add a conky on your desktop, you can do that. I'm not really a conky person, but you know, that's something you can yay for. At the moment, I'm at a loss to think of anything else to add. So I think we got it pretty much pimped here to looking relatively modern. And again, if you, here on our window manager, we could even change that. So like if I go over here and we go to window manager, let's see what we have to choose from. There's all kinds of themes in here. Besides our Arc and our all this other stuff. Gorilla. Wow, that looks pretty retro. So yeah, in addition to our qogir, you know, we have the themes that came with our Openbox install, like Spark, and that's kind of cool in a way. And what else was there? Wave and Wazza, Wild Bush, Blush, Bush, and Rick, and Slick, Platinum, not bad, Nordic, Dracula. Yeah, that's kind of cool. That kind of reminds me of the suite. So lots of possibilities. So there you have it, ArchCraft, the new 521E6 with the XFCE and pimped up a little bit. It looks like it's working great, looks really stable. And so if you want to add a desktop to your already existing ArchTop for whatever reason, here's an option. And it's still really lightweight. And for me, I like it. It looks cool. I give it a double thumbs up. And I hope this video was helpful. And if it was, don't forget to leave that thumbs up. And hit subscribe. Thanks again for watching. See you next time.